They weren't masked men with guns, they didn't speed off in getaway cars, and they certainly didn't look like criminals. In fact, they looked like grandfathers. In April 2015, during the quiet Easter weekend in London, a group of elderly men pulled off the biggest burglary in British history, stealing over £14 million from a high-security vault in the heart of the city. This is the story of how old-school criminals, some in their 70s, used patience, experience, and grit to crack open one of the most secure vaults in the UK. They weren't in it for thrills. They were in it for one last job. Brian Reeder, 76 years old at the time, was no stranger to crime. Nicknamed the Governor, he had been involved in the 1983 Brinksmat gold bullion robbery and was deeply respected in London's criminal underworld. Having long since retired from the life, Reeder had grown tired of peaceful living, so he started assembling a crew, criminals he knew from the old days. All of them were seasoned, all of them had prior convictions, and all of them were old. This was not a gang of reckless youngsters. These were experienced, methodical professionals. The full gang included Brian Reeder, the planner, aged 76, John Kenny Collins, the lookout, aged 74, Terry Perkins, the inside man, aged 67, Daniel Jones, the technician, aged 58, Carl Wood and William Lincoln, associates, and a mysterious figure known only as Basil, the man with inside access. Most of them were drawing pensions. One had trouble walking. Another brought sandwiches and a thermos of tea to the scene. But don't be fooled. Their age was their weapon. No one suspected a thing. The Hatton Garden safe deposit building sat in London's Diamond District, a fortress of steel, concrete, and security. It was the go-to storage facility for jewelers, gold traders, and wealthy individuals. Inside were 999 safety deposit boxes tucked away in a vault, reinforced by concrete walls over 2 meters thick. Alarms, CCV, locked gates, and steel doors made it seem impenetrable. But to these men, it was a puzzle waiting to be solved. For months, the gang conducted surveillance on the building. They studied the routines of staff and security, noted public holidays, and observed the area's traffic. They even secured a key to the front door, most likely provided by Basil, whose real identity remains unknown to this day. They brought in heavy equipment, a Hilti DD350 diamond core drill ropes, trolleys, crowbars, bags, safes, and containers. They would time the job perfectly, over the Easter holiday when the building would be empty for 4 full days. Thursday, April 2nd, 2015, 9:20 p.m., the men entered the building using their key. They descended the lift shaft and disabled the alarm. They reached the vault and began drilling through the reinforced wall. But something went wrong. The equipment jammed. The wall was too thick for their tools. The gang had to retreat, empty-handed. Most crews would have given up, but not these men. Saturday, April 4th, 10:17 p.m. Undeterred, they came back with better tools. This time they drilled 3 massive holes through the concrete wall. They squeezed through the holes, one by one, into the vault. Inside, they spent hours opening 73 safety deposit boxes. No alarms went off. No guards showed up. The streets outside were quiet. They took loose diamonds, gold bars, cash in pounds, dollars, and euros, luxury watches, personal heirlooms. The haul? Estimated 14 to 25 million pounds. Then, just as quietly as they entered, they vanished. Tuesday morning, staff returned and found the vault ripped open from the back. Word spread fast. Newspapers exploded with headlines like, "Biggest heist in British history. Ocean's 11, Grandpa Edition." The police had little to go on, no fingerprints, no clear CCTV, and no idea how the robbers got in. But the gang made one fatal mistake. What they didn't know was that the police had placed listening devices in a car belonging to Kenny Collins. In the weeks following the heist, the gang met at cafes and pubs. They openly discussed the robbery, argued over the loot, and even mentioned hiding money in garden sheds. One line caught on tape. "The old man's done it." That old man was Brian Reed. In May 2015, less than 6 weeks after the robbery, police moved in. They raided multiple homes and found bags of cash in attics, tools matching those used in the heist, jewelry stuffed in bins, and even a stolen safe hidden in a garage. Brian Reeder was caught. So were Collins, Perkins, Jones, and the others. The only one never found, Basil, the man with the key. In 2016, the men were sentenced. Reeder, 6 years and 3 months. Perkins, Collins, and Jones, 6 to 7 years. Others received lighter sentences. But here's the twist. Of the £14 million stolen, only £4.3 million was recovered. The rest vanished, likely hidden, sold off, or passed through black market channels. Even in prison, some of the gang refused to say where the money went. To this day, millions remain missing. They said it would be one last job, a farewell to crime, a perfect heist from a forgotten generation of thieves. But in the end, their age couldn't save them from the law. The Hatton Garden Heist was more than just a robbery. It was a moment in criminal history. Proof that experience can still outsmart technology. But no one, not even the Grandpa Gang, is untouchable. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from you. Until next time, stay safe, stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next one.